use this board if you'd like. It's the retrospective agenda in the Miro board. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Bring that up real quick. And the Sprint retrospective agenda document is within the stewards channel. So if you need help finding it, let me know.
Are we gonna have today's community call?
As far as I know, yes, at this moment. I think it's a little bit too late. Just cancel it. So, yeah.
Okay.
Everybody's on vacation and/or at conferences, but we'll see how the turnout comes. So, but we'll give. And Irene, do you already know how this works?
Which was the retrospective sprint?
Yep.
Well, I have been in one, and this is my second, and I didn't understand the thing.
Okay, yeah. So each 2-week period, we go through our 2-week sprints, and we have a sprint retrospective right before the day of planning the next one. And this allows us to kind of reflect on what happened within the week, what we can do better, what went well, and some actions to improve or action steps for the next sprint. And so right now, what we're going to do is go through what went well, just kind of reflect on what went well during this past couple sprints, things that you saw, things that you really thought were uplifting or progressive and moving us forward. And then we write them on these sticky notes. We discuss them afterwards and kind of reflect on it. So I'll give a 10-minute 10-minute period just to write down what went well. So I'll start that now. And if you have any questions, Irene, please don't hesitate to ask.
Thank you.
I'm gonna drop some music.
Thank you, Wonka.
Okay.
Hey, Wonka, I'm getting some feedback on your mic.
Sorry.
Okay. So it seems like people are slowing down and or done. Does anybody want to volunteer to read these?
I can read them.
Thank you, Judy.
Okay, so what went well? Um, Progress made on the treasury management front. Comes as adapting to change in a great way. Gideon has done an amazing job with the sample working group and getting people motivated about financial outlook in the TEC. Much of our community is taking time off or attending conferences, so nice to see. T Fundamentals is around the corner. Acid Laser won the Gnosis poster competition. I am almost done with the Treasury policy document. Yay. Proposals have found support among the community in spite of tough times. Merit and Chewy made a proposal inverted article. Rewards being distributed in an effective way. Really excited to see members get some tokens. Comms and Gravity thriving with motivation and great attitude. So many people going to ETH Barcelona. Great in real life vibes. True decentralizing stewardship in teams rotation is key for sustainability. 5K approved for Gravity by the ESD from the work with Aragon. Yay.
Awesome, yeah. So typically what we do now is we go around in a circle and basically reflect on it. Have any thoughts or comments? This is the time to do it. Thank you for reading that out loud, Chewy. Wonka, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, sure. Well, one of the main things that we can announce this sprint, and it's something that closed yesterday, and is that we are we finalized the first agreement that we had with Aragon to provide services, and it was an agreement for some months, and maybe we will design a season 2 of the proposal with Gravity there too, so that we can continue receiving funding and continue working with them. And yeah, I think that's good for the approach that we want to have in the TEC and some of our working groups to be able to provide services. It was really, really difficult because at some time there was like some uncertainty around some of the things that were going to be paid, and we had to like validate and make visible everything that we did so that we could be recognized the way that we thought that was the best way. Um, Also recognizing that we didn't deliver some things, and um, reducing some of our initial requests from the initial proposal. So it was like a very stressing negotiation process, maybe because it's the first time I'm doing this, and also because I think that Gravity maybe need to be more explicit on some things. But I think overall it's a positive experience, a great learning experience. Working with another community is not easy, but we made our first steps, and now maybe we will be looking forward what will come in the next season of this proposal and continue on this work. And yeah, that's something that went really, really well for me. And yeah, I'll pass it to Chuy.
Thank you, Juanca. Yeah, I echo some of these just great capacities of adapting is something that um, feels a little bit different in comms. It also brings, like in a way, like some detachment to the comfort zone that like getting used to certain like routine or way of doing things has established with time. So I feel that right now we are exploring things, and we are keeping in mind that different people might do things differently, so that this is an opportunity to explore just different ways of organizing, and I feel that this whole thing about collaboration with Aragon and just like comms contributors finding alternative ways to, like rotate different functions and support each other with, like some roles that are compensated. I just feel really good about this, and I feel that it just reminds me a lot of those times like before the Commons upgrade, that we were like so anxious about the Commons upgrade that maybe we were not focusing on things that were going really well. And I feel that right now it's some similar moment. Like personally, I feel a lot of confidence with the T fundamental scores and just the growth that is going to bring to the community, and just like more token engineers populating this community. And I know that there are like high expectations for other stuff. Like I mean, I love the proposal inverter and everything developing around it. So I feel that right now we are so focused in making those future projects work that we might be missing on things that are going really, really well. And I feel that just our capacity and our cultural build really, really shine in moments like this. And yeah, we can probably see that in Barcelona. That I'm feeling a lot of FOMO because pretty much everyone is there. Um, but yeah, at the same time, like I've been in some conferences in the past too, so it's good to be here. And yeah, I think that's what I take with me the most: the things that are going on that should be celebrated and recognized in a wider way. I'll pass it to Rennie.
Okay, I didn't write anything on the board. I was just orienting myself onto this board that I didn't knew. And what I can say is that I agree about the samples work, because there was not at the beginning when they started, but really little time after they started this exploring of how to manage more income and financials and stuff. And I really saw different movement and dynamic throughout all the DAO. And yeah, it feels like a different stage, and I believe it is really important. And that's the opportunity to bring I don't know, creativity and the commons into aliveness in this exploration and new activities. And I also have seen it in Gravity, that it's like infused in this new moment. And yeah, I'm excited about this new stage, because I feel like it opened the space for me to really think about to start contributing. And I believe that this means that it's opening the door for the new. And I am signed into the TE fundamentals. That's how I came into TEC. It was through that. So yeah, uh, I believe that's a huge thing.
Yeah, I don't think I could have put it in better words myself. The way you described the kind of this feeling of a new phase within the TEC. I kind of see it within the adjustment to the working groups, the way the ability to pivot away from, kind of some of these paid roles to a much more difficult situation, managing the contributors, making sure that everybody felt like they had a place to contribute. And then with the Sampo working group, especially, kind of getting this new mindset of and a lot of energy around how to move forward with the treasury management and how we manage our funds going into the future. And I think that's going to have a huge impact on every working group and how we approach managing the commons. And so, yeah, it's very well put. I think that we're kind of like in that second phase, and it will take some adjusting. And Chewy and Wonka, you guys have done an amazing job in your working groups as well to just adjust and keep moving forward. And so, I think that's something to celebrate. But yeah, that was very, very well put. Thank you for saying that. With that being said, we'll go on to what could we have done better. And so this is a time to reflect on things that we could do better, things that didn't go as well, but it's worth reflecting on. So we'll go do another 6 or 7 minutes. We'll just kind of gauge it based on activity, and starting now. So thank you. Okay, so it seems like we've slowed down a little bit. So we'll go ahead and start the roundtable reflection. Chewy, you want to start us off this time?
Sorry, I couldn't find the microphone. Yeah, so it's reading them again.
Oh yeah, sorry. Let's
Yeah?
do the reading.
Yeah, no worries.
Thank you.
What could do better? More engagement, education on major changes. Example, activating source grid. Feels like we are losing steam in the stewards working group. Not sure what to do there. Coordination, roadmap visibility, +1, +1, +1. Bring gravity skills into all TEC contributors. Figure out how to distribute work away from those who already carry too much, empowering new contributors to get started immediately. I'll add a +1 to that. Even more coordination and support in the groups, more clarity on flows of work and roles. Enjoying the ride. We learn from every bump in the road. Having a newborn makes things a little bit more difficult than I first imagined. Lols. Communities could get more stewardship support. Hosting more tea-related calls in the TEC Discord. More integration with other communities' partnerships. I still have a desire to do some type of tea podcast audio session, but not able to find structure for it. Need to regulate my sleep. Haven't been sleeping well lately. So, about some feedback, maybe I could start.
Yeah.
I I would say that coordination, just like that word by itself, I feel that it's very powerful, especially as we are being witnesses of an ecosystem that keeps advancing and improving. And like I just love this idea of always going back to it's all about coordination. So I feel that whatever like obstacles we're going through, if we find ways to coordinate enough, that should at least give us a better idea of a call to action around addressing any issues. I'll pass it to Irene.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I doubted about saying coordination because it's obviously something that is a process that it's naturally happening. So it's I see it as and pace on everything. At the beginning, it's not that structured, so I wouldn't worry that much. But now is the time to bring it up. I was thinking about the tasks and roles. I don't know where to look for it, so that is something that is really important. Where we're going, what is needed. That some things that can allow me to support even more or to adjust every activity into achieving that. So that's what I say.
Would you like to pass it?
Yeah, I think that. Nate, did you want to go?
Yeah, I can do it. So yeah, I think that's the one that sticks out for me is the roadmap visibility. Mainly just because it seems like we have a lot of different initiatives, yet they're not centered around a single kind of vision or purpose. Like we have these independent initiatives, and they're going that way, but they're not cohesive in a way that says, "Hey, we have this overall strategy of what we want to accomplish with our working groups." And the coordination between those working groups makes it a little difficult to have that type of like unified roadmap. And so the roadmap visibility is hazy at best. We're kind of saying this is what would be best for comms, and this is what would be best for gravity, and not what would be best for in especially within Sampo too, but not what's best for these working groups in in the context of the larger goals of the organization. And so I think that was a huge uh, sticky note that I saw that kind of made me reflect a little bit. And then integrating with other communities is something that's been on my mind a lot lately. The human capital aspect is something that we should prioritize above everything else. Getting more people involved, create sustainability, getting people interested. There's enough people who are interested in token engineering, whether from the social side of things, the cultural side of things, and from the technical side of things. And this is the place where they should be. And I think we have to meet them where they are and not expect them to just show up. So I think that's a big one for me too. I'll pass it to you, Wonka.
Thank you, Nate. Yeah, I think that this what we're talking about transformation and about the roadmaps um, tackles also the fact that we need to have like more coordination in the working groups and more clarity on the flows and the roles, because there are multiple things done in every working group at the same time, and if we don't have a clear champion on each initiative, it can be um, that there is some work that is not being like led directly by someone, or that maybe there is too much work in that flow of work and there is not so many people carrying that. I feel that for the future we need to structure better that, at least for gravity, and to have like at least two champions per every community that we approach, because at least what happened for Aragon is that I was championing, but like I requested for support for the group, but there was not like one clear other champion. And when I wasn't there, I struggled to have some support on some moments. And I think I have been somatizing a little bit that stress, and I haven't been able to sleep well lately. So I am looking forward on like the last 2 weeks of July to take some vacation and yeah, just chill.
Yeah, thank you, Wonka. And just to say that you shouldn't stress about that at all. Like, all of this has been a learning experience. I've had some challenging things that I've had to learn from during this process, and so don't let it bother your sleep. Take care of yourself. Stay healthy. Um, but we're going to move on to the actions to improve section. And so,
Nate,
yeah, please go ahead.
I wanted to point that the thing that you said about human capital, it's not on the notes. Can you add it?
I can, yeah, definitely.
Okay, thank you.
I'll add it during this session. But we're gonna go to the actions to improve just to stay on time. And so if you want to start the actions to improve, this is just what is going to be the next thing that we bring into the next sprint. What is something that we want to work on and include within the next sprint. So I'll start the timer and we will begin now. Okay, it seems we have slowed down. So, and is it Irene? Am I pronouncing that right?
Well, in my user, it's Irene Mosca, but I am Irene, so it's.
Irene.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Would you like to read these, Irene?
Okay. Comms teams having their own bi-weekly retrospective, call to action for community members each sprint, tweet, forum party, etc. Develop a community-wide roadmap similar to how we designed our economy and the MBB token log. Here we come. Work on roles definition. Working groups joint work on roadmap. Develop a way to accurately reflect the workload of each individual on a more incremental basis. Enjoy the ride, recharge batteries for next pushes, momentum is key. Experiment with working group role structures and compensation schemes. Taking time off with proper delegation. Culture dynamics to express needs and struggles. Develop more clarity about products and services. All formal and explicit is better. Gather community support for sample working group initiatives. What they are trying to do may be controversial or uncomfortable for some token holders. How can we make TE fundamentals happen sooner? Working out loud. That's it.
Okay, and Monica, would you like to start us off in the reflection?
Yeah, sure. I am sorry, I just moved from tab. Okay. I really agree on continue working on roles, definitions, and I think that some of the inertia that we had, where all the working groups were sharing all the information, needs to come back, because I feel that some working groups could benefit from the work that it's happening in other working groups, and instead of being islands, we need to continue seeing ourselves as nested enterprises. Also, enjoying the ride. I think it's really important. It's what I'm getting from these past days, and also I wrote the working out loud. Sometimes we can do amazing things, but if we don't share them with the public, they can maybe go unnoticed or not so published as we would like to. So, making noise for everything we do. That's what I think.
All right, you want to pass it?
Yeah, I will pass it to Irene.
Okay, thank you, Pankaj. What stand out for me is the note that says gather community support for sample working group initiatives. It kind of made me I want to know more about that, and this sounds really important because well, the financial viability of the DAO is really important. So these sample initiatives are crucial for the continuity, and so that I should think that this needs a wider expanding of what it needs. I pass it to Chuy. Do you want to go?
Yes, thank you. I think that the roles definition might not be the wording that I would use, because I feel that sometimes that definition isn't really clear until there is like some exploration. And I feel that there are a lot of successes in the community, like Communitas itself, that had this approach of, like not being sure what they wanted to do, and then the essence of it was being defined as they move forward. So I probably wouldn't suggest to work on roles like definition, but maybe like reporting on the role exploration could be something um, a little bit more accurate. And I'm, of course, like thinking of some uh, communications contributors with this, because we don't want to approach them and say them like, you got to do this because this is the way that it's getting done. So I feel that this is an opportunity where a lot of people could bring in new, fresh ideas. And let's say that if we try to define that role from the beginning, I feel that we would be missing out on some of this function exploration. So, I mean, it's not like one or the other. I just feel that it's like a balance of both. So, yeah, I would. Those are my 2 cents, and I'll pass it back to you, Nate.
Yeah. So the two that kind of take off for me is just to answer your question, Irene, about the gather community support with the Sampo working group. I just wanted to say that Sampo, and especially the Treasury fund managers, are going to probably have a proposal soon, and the difficulties with managing risk and managing expectations is the hard part. Because some people think this is going to be the saving grace in the short term, and some people think this is something that we shouldn't do at all. And so managing expectations and the wide diversity of opinions about this topic, what Sampo is doing, it's really important to get kind of this community support around it. And so, yeah, I think that's just what I wanted to convey there. But the things that really stand out to me are the working groups joint work on a roadmap. I think if we can develop a roadmap, a collective roadmap between working groups, between all members of the community, and have that kind of iteratively done, collectively designed, I think that would help a lot in terms of guiding the direction of each working group, making sure that we're, our actions are trying to develop our internal working group and how we're organized and what the activities that we're accomplishing align with the overall purpose and direction of the organization. And then, of course, the roles thing. I keep going back to the idea, if money wasn't an issue, would roles still be around? And I would say, yeah, probably. And I would probably still disagree with it being used. I think the idea of roles is very limiting in terms of contributions. And I think there are some interesting, actually a lot of different avenues you could approach compensation and including people in participating in the working groups without having it feel like it's closed off or limited. So I think that's something that we could explore as well. But that's about it. We have 3 minutes left, so if you could, at the bottom of this, we have our voting stars. And if you get a chance to always praise Ivy. She just offboarded as a steward. And she's done an amazing job for us. She's just kind of the silent hero within the TEC, and so we just make sure we praise her and thank her for everything that she's done for this. But we'll do 2 votes if you want, and then we'll add that to the next sprint. So looks like we have our winner, and that would be to develop a community-wide roadmap. So, yay, we did it. All right. Does anybody have any other comments before we leave?
I want to say that talking about roles, what I was thinking, instead of taking the perspective from the person, we could take the perspective from the need. In each working group, there should be some needs, that things that need to be done. So the roles have to take that on an accountant. So it could happen. It could work.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's so many things we could do that are really experimental within the idea of like how we structure, organize, and get people involved within different working groups and how they're compensated and how they have empowerment over the work that's being done. I think that's one of them for sure. Looking at it based off of need rather than, managing a small group. So yeah, I really appreciate that. And I don't know if maybe Chewy, I know that you're doing some work on that right now, more so than any other working group, but perhaps even Irini can collaborate on that.
Yeah, you mean about defining the roles, or
Just coming
is
up
it
with a new system.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, probably. I mean, also like thinking out loud, but I think that D-Work could help us a lot. Like, it's been a while since we tweaked it, and there's just like a ton of new features that we haven't tried yet. So it might be a good idea to see if it can be a good tool for like scaling and diversifying responsibilities the way we want. So yeah, I was just thinking about that since I started another project in D-Work and just noticed how many differences there are in setting up the project. So I don't know, it could be something good.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. I got to get back into this orientation call. So, thanks, everybody. Hope you have a good day.
Thanks, Nate.
Bye bye.
Everyone.
Bye.
See you later.